Hi, I'm John from Trophy Eyes, and I'm here to tell you the story behind my band songs. It's about when I was a kid. Lived in a small town, very far away from any like beach or water or anything like that. So I guess naturally those people learn to swim a little bit later on in life. So I think I was in like primary school, like quite young. Anyway, I jumped into the wrong end of the pool and I couldn't swim yet. So I went into the deep end and I was drowning. And I was like swallowing water, and there was a kid that was there and he was watching me. And like he was watching me, but he was laughing to start with. He was just like, "Oh, this kid's like messing around." But then like I think he realized that I was quite serious, so he jumped in and like pulled me out of the water, and he literally saved my life. I think I was gonna die right there. But then months later, maybe like 3 years ago, he had a bad breakup apparently, and he hanged himself in his wardrobe at home. And that song's kind of just about like, I never said that we're friends or out of respect for the guy, because we weren't, and I didn't want to say that. We weren't friends. We didn't even know each other very well. But we didn't even speak about that ever again or anything. So just hearing that he did that has just kind of like sparked a thought in my brain to think that like, hey, that's crazy. Like that was, he saved me and then did that later on. Like it's strange how life turns out, I guess. So it's kind of just like not even really a tribute, but more of just like isn't that strange? My Name on Pipa is about my grandmother, I guess, and my grandfather, and my grandmother had dementia, and it was like a bitter and long, slow end for her, which was terrible. It was very sad because she was a lovely person, and her and my grandfather were a very sweet couple and very happy together for a very long time. She had dementia. We just visited her, and we came home, and my grandfather decided to stop at the bar, I guess, because it was pretty rough. We would go and see her, and she wouldn't remember anybody, especially for him. It was like, I'm your husband, I guess. So he didn't take it very well, but as you would expect, I guess. Anyway, he stopped at a bar and had a couple of quiet drinks himself, and he ended up walking home. So he had a stroke on the way home, and he was quite old himself, and he died, and my grandmother died actually within 24 hours of him as well, so it just like passed away in the night. And there's lots of subtle lots of subtle references throughout that song about like what my grandmother meant to me and how we would hang out and stuff. I remember when I was a kid, we would get in the car and like when it was raining, we would drive around with my grandmother, and she would we would pick the directions, and she'd go and try and find the end of the rainbow, because she's Irish. She's telling us about like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow kind of thing. So that was kind of like a pastime we would go and do with her, and just little sweet memories like that is kind of like scattered throughout the song. And I guess that main point in the story is that just kind of how they went out. Okay, so I kind of wrote the lyrical ideas, or like the basis of the song when I was here, lyrically, anyway. And I was here in Newcastle. We just finished Warped Tour in America, and I was here in Newcastle with the anti-flag, and our tour was bombing. We were having a hard time. We weren't selling merch. The crowd hated us. They were all like 40-year-old, like mohawk, denim vest, arm-folded assholes, being like, these guys aren't a punk band. And that's fair enough. We weren't really. We thought we were, but then we were on tour with anti-flag, so we're like, oh, apparently not. So then, it was going pretty south for us. And I guess I drink quite a bit, so it's one of my favorite vices, I guess. I was walking around the harbor in Newcastle, and it was getting nighttime, and everything was closing up, and I was pretty drunk, and I had this idea in my head. I was like, if I have another fucking drink, I'm gonna implode. I'm gonna do something stupid, So I was like knocking on doors of bars, just being like, can you make me a coffee? And they were like, we just closed the coffee machine down. I was like, you don't understand, but so it was like it was just a scary moment in my own brain, and I guess that's what it's about. And I just met my girlfriend in California, and we decided to like try and make it work. I'm from Australia, so it was like already a long distance relationship, and I already hadn't seen her for like 4 months, and I wasn't going to see her for another 2. I was on tour through UK and mainland Europe for the next 2 months, and I just felt like it was never going to end. And it was cold and it was dark. Like the sun was up for like 4 hours a day. I was going insane. I was like, I need some vitamin D or something. I think, yeah, very depressive and sad. So that's where that song came about. Just like I want to go home, I want to see my girlfriend, and I want to spend every second I can with her. And that's kind of where it starts. Is like, help me. I feel empty. I think there's something wrong with me. Like that kind of stuff is just like I got that idea from just walking around Newcastle, just like looking for help, I guess. Pretty negative, huh?